Now, Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority.
105.9 FM.
And AM 630.
7:37 on WMAL. We got Larry Kudlow coming up 1 hour from now from CNBC. Got another guest on the phone right now who knows the economy very well. Congressman Scott Garrett, Republican from New Jersey. He's also Vice Chairman of the House Budget Committee and Chairman of the Budget and Spending Task Force. Good to have you on, Mr. Garrett. How are you, Congressman?
I am doing well. Good to be with you this morning.
So were you underwhelmed or overwhelmed by the president's budget proposal yesterday?
I guess I would say I was not surprised. Just disappointed, and just once again see that a president fails to lead when we need a president to try to right the ship of state of this country.
So we know that the president's budget is going nowhere. The House has passed a budget in the past that's probably won't go anywhere. So what happens for the next 10 months, 12 months?
You're right. And I guess the American public understands this as well. For over 1,000 days now, going on to 3 years, the Democrat-led Senate has failed to pass a budget. It's just amazing to most people when I tell them that you can have the largest, most powerful country in the world having failed to pass a budget. And you're right, we will again pass a budget out of the House this spring, send it over to the Senate. They will fail to act. What happens procedurally, though, after that is we will try to move some appropriation bills, and I wouldn't put much money on guessing that they will pass. And we'll get all the way to the end of the year, and we'll have to do another CR omnibus to get us through the next process.
And that will be done during a lame duck session.
Well, the CR has to occur before October 1st. The continuing resolution actually has to occur before October 1st. Then the question mark is, how long? Does that get us just through lame duck, or does Harry Reid insist, since he pulls a lot of the strings here, that it goes all the way next year?
All right, Congressman, so you're upset with the president for not giving you a realistic budget, about not making the hard choices, and yet yesterday, House Republican leaders said they will support extending the federal payroll tax holiday, and they're not going to pay for it.
Yeah, there you go. So we're going to have a conference on that, I think, when we get into town today. All the members are out in their district over the weekend. We're going to be coming back in at 6 o'clock, and leadership is going to explain the circumstances of that.
Well, hold on. Let me stop you for just a second, because this is really an important thing, and I just want to get your feelings about this. Were you surprised yesterday when the House Republican leadership announced that they were going to go forward with a payroll tax extension and not pay for it? You were out of town. Were you caught off guard by this?
Well, I was a little caught off guard as to what happened in December, but you have to push this situation all the way back to, and I know this is hard, all the way back to December of the last term when they all agreed on both sides of the aisle to have the payroll tax in the first place, and that was during a lame duck session. I was one of the few that said no to that then, because I said, you're starting down a slippery slope. You'll never get out of this quagmire, whether it's during lame duck or otherwise.
But fair enough, I appreciate all that, but I'm talking about specifically yesterday when this press conference, were you aware this press conference was going to take place?
No, when you're out of town like this, leadership is usually in town.
But this is what happened. This is what happened just a couple of months ago, and you guys weren't happy about that. Then were you?
I thought everybody was supposed to be on the same page this time around.
Yeah, no. So we were out of town at that time, and that was one of those tough decisions that I guess leadership made during the December period. I'm not happy about any of the payroll tax cuts at all. I don't think it's the right way to do it, pay for it or otherwise.
Well, I'm given the fact that you're coming back to town today and you're going to have a conference meeting to talk to the Republican leadership, and based on the things that I've been reading that others have said, sounds like that there's going to be a pretty hot meeting.
I think you're right on the money on that one. It will be a hot meeting. The question I think that's going to be asked, among others, is, assuming for sake of argument that we go down this road, what is the game plan on getting the country out of this quagmire? What is the game plan? What is the end of the game with regard to payroll taxes? Do we have one? Do we have an agreement with the Democrats on this? I doubt we have an agreement with the Democrats on anything, because they have never come up to the table on any of these issues.
So is it fair of me to say that it looks like the Republican leadership and many members of the Republican conference in the House are not, at this moment, on the same page?
Yeah. absent that's why the leadership has to give a good explanation as to how do we work our way through this. And if they can do that, then you'll have a majority, maybe not me, but majority of the members on the same page after conference.
Well, it sounds like that the idea is we'll pass this, we'll get the extension for the next 10 months, and then we can work on figuring out how to pay for it. We still plan on paying for it, but we'll work that out sometime down the road. I ask you, is that really possible? I mean, we've heard that many times before. Well, we'll just pass it and we'll figure out a way to pay for it down the road. Is it possible to do that?
No, you certainly will never be able to pay for this extension. If we do a 10-month extension tomorrow, let's say, that gets you through October 1 or at the end of the year, there'll be no way to go back retroactively and say, let's pay for it with X, Y, and Z.
I'm sorry, Mary Catherine, but I don't see how you have any credibility on the issue of the Obama budget when you have basically done the same thing. You've laid out a $100 billion thing that you're not going to pay for.
Well, on that one, and I don't disagree with you on that at all. On that one, then, if that's the path that the Congress takes on it, then the Democrats and the Republicans will be all together on the same page on that one element. Republicans will have a harder time to say that we should not be in deficit spending. Republicans will have a hard time to one of my seminal issues saying, let's get to a balanced budget. You know, no one's even talking about that. You don't see that in any of the budgets right now, but I talk about it all the time. So it makes it, yes, you are absolutely right. It makes it a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I'm with you in theory on the payroll tax, and I agree with the principles behind it.
Yes.
But I feel like that PR battle, like you noted, was lost maybe a year or 2 years ago. And I wonder how you win that fight moving forward. Yeah, or do you just say, or do Republicans just concede, like, this is the new rate and pay for it?
Oh, well, no. Well, two things. One, you make the point that will probably be made to us tonight at 6 o'clock, and that is that we've lost this PR battle that not just this December, but last year and so on and so forth. And we have to just get through this so we can discuss the larger issues, the $1 trillion issues. So you're probably right on that PR battle issue. Come next term with a new president, a new Senate, and a new House, can you win that issue again? Maybe. And here's in 10 seconds how you do that. You say we need to restructure Social Security so it's and the payroll tax so it's sustainable. And maybe what you do, and there's already a proposal out there to say, give the American public the option. Do you want your tax low at this level? Okay. Then your retirement is pushed off by, a month or so. Do you want a higher tax? Okay. Then your retirement is the same as it is today, or something like that. Right. So you throw it out to the American public as a choice, and maybe you can change the dialogue and the discussion. Well,
Congressman Garrett, we appreciate you coming on, and I think you understand it very well, and you very well can articulate it, and we don't need to beat you up on it because I think you're on the right side of it. It's just kind of frustrating. I mean, even in the Washington Times today, it says the president's own budget says Social Security is going to go belly up in 2022. That's 10 years from now, and here we are having these tax cut extensions that aren't paid for.